Hello, readers. Welcome to our next reading lesson. Remember, scholars, we yesterday started a new story related to the Iditarod, so you want to make sure you have the Iditarod Adventures packet for lessons 91 to 100, and we're in the Blue Reading Mastery Book B. So, textbook B has the picture of the cheetahs on it. So, we're at lesson 92. So, maybe pause for a moment, get those things ready, get to lesson 92, and then we'll begin. All right, lesson 92, column 1. Word 1 is include. What word? Right, include. When you include something, you let it inside something else. If you let Marge in a group, you include Marge in the group. If you let Bill join the group, you're including Bill in the group. Word 2 is the word official. What word? Yes, official. An official is somebody who can judge if things are done as they are supposed to be done. An official for a race would judge whether all the things were done as they were supposed to be done for the race. Official. Word 3 is the word purpose. What word? Right, purpose. And word 4 is leashes. What word? Yes, leashes. All right, moving to column 2. All of the words in column 2 have endings called suffixes on them. I'm going to give you the root word and the suffix, and then you tell me the word. Word 1. The root word is booty, and we're adding the S suffix to make what word? Right, booties. Number 2, the root word is stiff, and we're adding the suffix N to make what word? Correct, stiffen. Number 3, the root word is strain, and we're adding the ed past tense ending to make, yes, strained. And number 4, the root word is huff, and we're adding the past tense ending suffix to make what word? Correct, huffed. Like the wolf huffed and puffed to blow the house down. All right, moving to column 3. Word 1 is gang. What word? Correct, gang. Do you remember the gang line is the line that runs all the way down from the lead dogs to the sled? That line running down the middle. All the dogs, the whole gang is connected to that gang line. Number 2, that word is reins. What word? Yes, reins. Number 3 is G. What word? Correct, G. Number 4 is haw. What word? Right, haw. And number 5 is canvas. What word? Nice job, canvas. And 6 is Velcro. What word? Good, Velcro. Now, scholars, G and ha are directions that are given to dogs, commands that are shouted out to dogs that tell them which way to turn. We'll be getting to that soon. All right, part B is an information passage that's going to give us some facts about booties, and then we'll continue our story. Join me for part B, booties. The rules of the Iditarod require every dog to wear booties on its feet, and the musher must have a spare set of booties for each dog. Most mushers take along more than 1,000 booties and change them every 2 days. Wow, that's a lot. The booties are designed to protect the dog's feet. In some places, the dogs go over ice. Without booties, they may get serious ice cuts on their paws. Even if they cut one of their paws while wearing a bootie, the bootie will protect the cut. So, scholars, hold that spot for a moment. How do booties help a dog's feet? Did you say something about it protecting their paws? Excellent. So, is it better for a dog with a cut to wear a bootie or not wear a bootie? Right, to wear the bootie. All right, let's continue. Also, dogs without booties get balls of snow packed between the pads on their paws. This is uncomfortable for the dogs. When it happens, a dog would like to stop, sit down, and chew the snow from between their pads. But there's no time for this kind of stopping during the race. So, dogs without booties would suffer. They would also slip around a lot more than dogs with booties. Not all booties are made of the same material. The booties that Chad preferred are made of canvas. These booties have Velcro flaps. Scholars, let's pause for a moment and look at the picture. That shows the kind of booties that Chad preferred. What's that strap made of? Right, Velcro. And what's the rest of the booty made of, that reddish pink part? Correct, canvas. Canvas is a heavy cloth that protects things well. You could ask your family if they have anything made of canvas that you could feel. Sometimes tote bags are canvas, right? Or some kind of jacket might have some canvas in it. See if you have anything made of canvas that your family could help you with. Let's keep going. Putting booties on the dogs is tricky. If booties are too tight, the dog's blood cannot circulate around the paws, so the dog's ankles swell up. If the booties are too loose, they fall off. Let's check to make sure we're all understanding that. Hold your spot. So, what did we just hear can happen if the booties are too tight? Right, their ankles can swell up and the blood does not circulate. But what did we hear could happen if the booties are too loose? Oh, that's right. They could fall off. All right. Before putting on the booties, the musher sometimes rubs a special cream on a dog's pads. The cream keeps the pads soft so they won't crack. Now, scholars, we're going to move on to our story for today. If you need to, press pause, read that story, that information aloud again, just to get all that information into your mind. Then press play, and we'll continue our story. So, part C is our story for today. Getting ready for a run. Sorry, I was in the wrong spot for a moment. Getting ready for a run. Let's harness up, Chad said, as he hooked up the dogs to their tug lines. Remember, the tug lines are what hook each dog to the long gang line. As he hooked up the dogs to their tug lines, Susie began to put booties on the dogs. Susie and Chad didn't put booties on the dogs for ordinary practice runs in open fields, but the dogs needed booties for a tough run like the one they would do today. Also, Chad wanted to make sure that none of the dogs would have problems with the booties. Right? They definitely need to get used to wearing those. Before putting on the booties, Susie rubbed a special cream on each dog's pads. Susie and Chad worked fast, but it took more than 30 minutes to get everything ready. At last, the dogs were lined up in pairs. 7 pairs. So, if there's 7 pairs, how many dogs is that? 7 times 2. Right, 14. Each dog's harness was attached to a tug line, and each tug line was attached to the gang line. Remember, everyone, the gang line's the long line in the middle, all the way from the lead dogs to the sled. The whole gang is attached to it. A neckline connected each pair of dogs together. When all 14 dogs were in place and ready to go, the lead dogs were over 50 feet from the sled. So, scholars, hold that spot for a moment. Let's check on just a couple of things to make sure we're all understanding. Do you remember from yesterday's reading how many dogs Chad is planning to use in the Iditarod? Right, 14. And how many dogs is he practicing with right now in our story? Right, 14. So he wants to be working with the team that he's going to use in the actual race. Now, what did Susie and Chad do differently today for their practice than their previous practices? Did you say something about them putting booties on the dogs, which they don't normally do? Why did they do that for today's practice? Yes, your answer should have something to do with it being a tough run, right? They want to make sure the dogs aren't having any problems with the booties, that they're getting used to wearing them. And how far did we hear the lead dogs are from the sled? Go back and look if you need to. That's right, they're 50 feet away from the sled. That's quite a long distance. All right, steering dogs is tricky. It's not like steering horses because horses have reins. If you move the reins to the left, the horse turns left. The sled dogs don't have reins. The only thing mushers use to steer the dogs is their voice. They shout out commands that the dogs follow. Some of the commands are for only some dogs. So the dogs have to know which commands they are to obey and which commands are for other dogs. Wow, that sounds very complicated. After all the dogs were harnessed, Chad loaded 4 large sacks of dirt on the sled. He said, "This dirt weighs over 300 pounds, so the dogs will be pulling more weight than they'll have to pull during the race. But I want to see what the team can do in tough places." So, how much weight did he put on? Wow, over 300 pounds of weight in that dirt. Then he jumped on the back of the sled and shouted out, "Mush, you sled dogs, mush!" Hold that spot. So the sled right now has more than 300 pounds on it, or sorry, has 300 pounds of dirt on it. In the actual Iditarod race in a couple of weeks, right, that's coming up, is the sled going to have more than 300 pounds of weight or less than 300 pounds of weight? Correct. It's going to have less. He wanted to try it with more weight today just to see how the dogs do. You can see in the picture, he's loading those sacks of dirt onto the sled. And what is Susie doing in that picture? Right. She's holding 2 of the dogs, or has 2 of the dogs by her. Those 2 dogs are not going to be a part of the team. Remember, the other dogs are all hooked up, ready to go on this tough practice run. All right, scholars, I want you to read the rest of this to yourself. Be ready with a few questions. Well, to answer my questions. Press pause and read the rest right now. All right, let's see how you did. Now, if you need to, look back to find the answers to my questions. What command did Chad use to make the sled turn left? Right. Ha. And what command does he use to turn the sled right? Yes, he says come G or G. right? For right. So scholars, I've taught my students in the past a way to remember this is right, the word right and the word G both have G's in them. So G is right and ha is left. Right? So remember, G and right both have G's. That's a good way to remember it. What command does he use to make the team go forward? Right, mush. All right. Take a quick look at that picture at the end of our story. Why did Chad get the sled stuck in that way? Oh, right. He did that to give them practice in getting it unstuck. Hmm. Think for a moment about what the dogs are going to do to get unstuck. Just do a little thinking about that. Tomorrow, we'll find out, or next time, we'll find out just what the dogs do to get that sled unstuck. All right, scholars, let's take a look at the post for our assignment today.